So these sliders we're going to be making are Char Siu style. Now, Char Siu is like a barbecue saucy thing that you put with certain cuts of pork in Chinese cooking. Usually it's a very fatty cut, like a pork shoulder. We're not going to be using a fatty cut today. We're going to be using pork tenderloin, pretty lean. And we need to get our Char Siu sauce ready because these pork tenderloins are going to marinate overnight to really get that intense flavor. Now, one of the ingredients here is going to be some red food coloring. That's actually very traditional when you're making a Char Siu sauce. It's like a barbecue sauce. You don't have to use that, but you will lose a little bit of that redness that you get in here. So we're using it. It's like, an 1/8 of a teaspoon approximately. First up, we're starting with a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper. This is just like ground black pepper, except it's white. A 1/2 teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of Shaoxing wine. It's a rice wine, it's for cooking only. Next up, 1/2 teaspoon of sesame oil. I'm just going to measure this right here. 1 tablespoon of hoisin. This is very thick, so you just gotta let it come out there. And 2 tablespoons of molasses. This is very thick. Now, I could eyeball this, but I really want to measure this for this recipe. Why do I want to measure it exactly and be very careful of my measurements? Because I actually filmed part of this video before and messed up because somewhere along the line I added too much of a liquid ingredient. I don't want to do that again. So this is all me refilming this, doing it from scratch because it just wasn't right, and I don't like to show the wrong way to do things. That was 1 tablespoon. Let's get another one in there. And now for our food coloring. Again, we're just putting a little bit in here, not a lot. And we mix. A lot of very thick ingredients here, so you got to kind of work them until they thin out. But doesn't that look great, that color? That's the color you'll see in Char Siu when you're getting that in a restaurant, that nice, vibrant red. Make sure all of the dry ingredients have incorporated. Now we need to reserve 2 tablespoons of this marinade because we're going to use this mixed with some honey at the end to glaze our pork tenderloins when they're done. So just a couple tablespoons here. And this will go in the refrigerator. All right, let's get our pork tenderloin out here and get it marinated with this beautiful sauce. So in this bowl here, I have about 3 pounds of pork tenderloin here. You can see that's the length of them. We're just going to get our sauce in here, get it massaged and get everybody coated. I'm gonna put a lid on this and this will go in the refrigerator overnight. And tomorrow when we're out at the grill, we're not gonna be direct grilling it. We're gonna be basically roasting it at a higher heat, somewhere around 400 degrees, maybe 425. Char Siu, a lot of times you'll be doing in an oven around 425 or even higher at different places that I've seen. So this is gonna be our version out on the grill. Let's get our beautiful sauce on here and just look at that red color. And scrape everything out. Get everything out of the bowl here, all the goodness. And then just get in there, get everybody massaged, everybody coated. And if you want to, maybe in 6 hours or so, move everybody around, make sure everybody's coated. You could do this in a flat dish. I just happen to have this bowl ready and it works great. It's got a lid and I need to cover it. So I'm gonna get the lid on this and I'll see you tomorrow out at the grill. All right, our Char Siu pork has been marinating overnight in that Char Siu barbecue sauce. The Weber kettle is up to temp. We're going for 400 degrees today. If that moderates down a little bit to say 375, I'm fine with that. Once we get our pork on, I'm gonna put a temperature probe in. The finished temp for the pork today is gonna be about 145 degrees. We'll probably pull it around 140, 142. It should rise the rest of the way. But at about 100 degrees, we're gonna glaze it with some of that reserved marinade that's been mixed with 2 tablespoons of honey and a tablespoon or so of some hot water. So let's go ahead and get our pork char siu on. I also want to add a couple pieces of cherry wood here, just for a little bit of smoke today. These are very slender, so getting the temperature probe in the right place isn't always easy. We'll make it work. That's looking like a good placement, 39 degrees. This is pretty much fresh out of the refrigerator. It's been sitting out here for maybe 10 minutes, so I think we got a good placement. We're gonna get our lid on, and when we hit about that 100 degrees, we're gonna glaze these. All right, we just hit 100 degrees internal. Let's glaze these. Get a little more flavor on these here. And we could turn them over and do the other side, but you know what? I'm not gonna do that. These move so quickly, pork tenderloin. By the time we turn them over, they may be done. All right, I'm gonna get the lid back on and we will pull these, like I said, at 142-ish. All right, we are just about to hit 142 internal. Let's check our pork tenderloin and get them off of here. Oh, look at those. Let's get our temperature probe out. I'm gonna get these off of here. They're gonna go in a foil pan covered with foil and rest for about 15 minutes before we make some slices and build our Char Siu pork sliders. All right, here is one of our pieces of pork tenderloin with that char siu treatment. And as I think I mentioned early in the video, traditional char siu is a fatty pork and pork tenderloin is not a fatty pork. So I'm calling this pork char siu because, well, it's got that barbecue sauce. It's treating it the same way. We're just not using a fatty pork. Well, let's go ahead and slice in so we can start building some of these char siu sliders. Let's go right here. Oh, looking good. And this is about the thickness that I want right here. And we're gonna be making these on Hawaiian rolls, which are the perfect size for the smaller sort of diameter of pork tenderloin. You know, we're gonna have to take a little taste here of this end piece. Let's see. That lovely flavor of char siu, which is really sort of highlighted by that Chinese 5 spice that comes in there, just terrific. Now, if you're using a fattier cut, it cooks longer. This only took about 25 minutes total, and that allows you to develop that sort of really darker red color on the outside. You get some caramelization. So when you're using something like a pork tenderloin, you're not gonna get that, but I saved some of the barbecue sauce. I reserved even a little bit more, and we're gonna brush that on once we build our sliders. So let's go ahead and do that. Now I've got the bottom half of my Hawaiian rolls here and I did not toast them. You can if you want, but on these I really want that sort of pillowy, soft consistency with the char siu pork tenderloin. So we're gonna just start building our base here. And I think we'll double up a bunch of stuff on here. We're gonna see it like this. We'll do our best to make everybody fit. We don't want to be stingy with the pork here. Now I want to brush a little bit of that barbecue sauce that I saved on here. Just a little bit on each one, just for some nice color and flavor. Remember, before we brushed this on the pork out there, as I mentioned, it was mixed with a couple tablespoons of honey. That really helps thicken it up. Get some beautiful color and flavor. And to finish these off, I have some shredded carrots that I've just tossed with a little bit of rice wine vinegar. Just a nice little pop of flavor on the top here. And some crunch. Kind of similar to what you do with maybe, say, pulled pork sliders or something with coleslaw. Let's go ahead and start topping these. And there we have it, Char Siu Pork Sliders. I'm not even gonna wait, I'm gonna dive in. All right, I grabbed a couple little sliders here. Let's see how we did. That flavor is fantastic, and the pork tenderloin, just whether you're using pork tenderloin or pork loin, is so tender when you cook it to right at that 145 degree, so it's not too overcooked. Pulling at 142 got us probably right in that 145 range, and it shows. It is tender, juicy, and it really helps highlight the flavor of this char siu. The carrots are a nice addition for that crunch, but honestly, it is the char siu here. It is that flavor, works so well, and just putting it on this nice pillowy little Hawaiian roll, it's a perfect way to eat this. I could probably eat all 6 of those that I made up, but I won't, probably.